Good morning, or whatever time of the day it is where you're at. I have been criticized in the past for not being a professional at making these videos, but I am trying to do my best. I have a new project I'm trying to start, and I feel like in order to give you a clear picture of what I'm trying to do, I need to tell you a little bit of my background. I'm sorry to those of you who do not like to hear Bible verses, but it will be necessary to mention a few in order for me to explain how I feel about certain subjects. A lot of churches say all things are possible with God, but I wonder if they actually believe it because if you're trying to believe all things are possible with God and mention one of your hopes and dreams and desires, and that person that you're talking to does not necessarily believe the same way you believe, they always say, if it's God's will, it will happen. Or if they don't believe your goal is possible, they tell you to be realistic, or they even go as far as telling you to see a psychologist. I will show you how I've always tried to live. However, how I've always tried to believe seems to go in contradiction with how other people believe, because I've always tried to believe the way these Bible verses state, and I've always wondered why different churches always say, if it be thy will, in praying, when you can look up Matthew chapter 19 verse 26 and Luke chapter 1 verse 37 and Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 and Mark chapter 10 verse 27 and Matthew chapter 17 verse 20 and Genesis verse 6 in chapter 11 and Job verse 42 verse 2 and John 3:16, and there are a lot more that say with God all things are possible. So where does the church get the idea of if it be thy will? I mentioned all those Bible verses to sort of emphasize to you that if you're a Christian, I want 100% prayer that I can succeed at what I'm trying to do, and I need people praying with me that do not doubt. And regarding the topic that I originally mentioned, that I am starting a new project. I am trying to build a website that advertises everything from dating to marriage to everything that a person would need to buy during their lifetime to make life easier. And there are a couple source websites that I can apply to get merchants and see if I have their permission to advertise them on my website. And those merchants, if they do not give me permission, usually state that my website does not have relevant content or not enough content, and I do not understand what they mean, and they do not give me clear explanations as to how I can improve my website so more merchants will accept my website. So I am wondering, in addition to people praying for me and not doubting in their prayers, I'm wondering, in addition, if anyone has any suggestions on how I can build a professional looking website so a lot of people will want to advertise on my website. I can advertise with the source I have. I can advertise for companies like Victoria's Secret, Spencer Gifts, etc., etc., etc. But my website has to have enough content or enough relevant content in order for those merchants to approve it. And if I don't understand what those two terms mean, I'm not able to get those companies to accept my site as an advertising avenue, if you know what I'm trying to say. Do you have any suggestions or advice on how I can build a great website? That's my question. I have always wanted to have a legitimate business of my own, so I did not have to depend on government programs, as I stated earlier. Thank you for listening.